From downtown Decatur, it's the Faber Files. Hello, I'm your host, Bill Faber. Because democracy demands debate, we present this program on public access TV, the only opportunity in Decatur for its citizens and its leaders to express opinions and views about issues and interests that matter to the Decatur community. Today's guest is Mike Nixon. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bill. Glad to be here.
Mike, you're the host of the new Labor's Voice, radio voice, on Friday afternoons, 12:30 p.m. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm the host. I'm not sure I was the chosen one, but I am in the position of being the host right now, and I've got to honestly tell you that it's turned into a much more pleasant endeavor than I thought it was ever going to be, and I am enjoying it very much.
You're on FM Talk Radio, 101?
Yes, 100.1 Talk Radio, Decatur, Illinois, FM. And I am fortunate to have a fantastic co-host in Tara Dickerson. She makes me look awful good. Awful good. She handles all the blending in of the music, and even in the questioning sometimes gives us a female perspective on what's going on. So many times we tie construction into strictly male. And actually, I got to tell you, I'm getting a lot of encouragement from all the individuals and the hosts, the stars down there at the Cromwell Radio, and they keep pushing me, to be better. And they said they're enjoying the show very much.
I tune into your show. I got to tell you, you have, if not the best, one of the best radio voices we have in this community. You really come off like you have experience, and you have experience as a DJ, don't you?
Yes, I do. In the late 70s, I was fortunate enough to build a relationship with a gentleman named Larry Williamson, and he handled the W3E late night radio out of Taylorville, Illinois. And I had a record store here in town, and we collaborated, and he says, why don't you come down sometime and just try it? And I never thought about being on the radio, but it's a lot easier when there's not a camera on you, okay? And I actually, for that particular first time on the radio, I put together my own music and everything, showed up prepared and ready to go on the show, and it really worked out well because he didn't realize I was going to take this kind of commitment. And he hired me, and I worked for some time, and just really enjoyed it. But it was late night FM rock radio is what it was. Yeah.
Now your current radio program, the Labor's Hour, can be pulled up on the podcast of the Cromwell website, right?
Correct. Go to the website, Decatur Radio, if you're just starting at the very beginning, and you find FM Talk Radio for Decatur, Illinois, and you'll see the Talk of Decatur. And if you'll go on there and then also click on Tara, her shows, and it'll bring it up, and it'll show you how to hook up for the podcast. Also, you got to remember, we are included into an hour where there's a lot of farm futures and stuff. The first half hour, you can skip through that and go to the last half hour, and you'll catch our whole show.
Catch the last half. So if a guy or a lady doesn't catch your show live on Friday afternoons at 12:30 p.m., they can pull up the podcast and listen anytime.
I'll tell you what, if somebody's that excited about hearing the show, which I hope they are, I'll be glad to make a disc of the show for them too, and I'll get it to them some way, somehow.
Okay. The title of your show is The Labor's Voice.
Yes.
How did you come to that title, Mike?
We searched we was asking for opinions. We are sponsored by Decatur Building Trades and Decatur Trades and Labor. They're the ones that helped us out quite a bit getting the show started. And we put it out for ideas of different people to write in and give us thoughts on what we should call the show. And actually, my wife, who's very active in the community and very active statewide with labor, she came up with the idea of Labor's Voice. And it took a while for it to grow on me, but I think it's really getting catchy. It is a good title.
Yes. And so what is the format of your show? What are the issues that you deal with on the Labor's Voice?
Well, if you take the time to look around at people walking around the community, the conversations you might be able to be exposed to, there's not a lot of positive things that are being said. And I'm born and raised in this town, and without a doubt, I believe this is one of the greatest towns there is. I've never met a more giving, caring community than Decatur, Illinois. It's been good to my family. It's been good to my friends. And I really come back to me with a question again, how you said that. How'd you say that now?
We were really talking about what issues and what topics are you exploring on the
we get a lot of
Labor's Voice?
negativity. I want to really be sure and promote the positive things that are going on in our community that very few people hear about in the newspaper, television, or anything like that, that labor's involved in. And there is a tremendous amount of goodwill, volunteering, just giving totally coming from the labor side of this community, which I don't see it stopping.
Guys who make the community go and make America work.
Yes, and it's also, I'm trying to address the young people coming up because they don't maybe realize the importance of giving back to the community or being involved in the community, and they learn that from their elders. And I know that's where I learned about it, and giving back is a big part of who Decatur is.
You know, a really unique feature to your show, and a lot of your listeners are talking about this, Mike, are your shout-outs. And the way your shout-outs bring to life the immediacy of the guys who are working right now in this weather.
Well, you know, I have a humorous side to me, and I got to be careful. You could almost make it redneck. That's what I am. I'm redneck. But having worked in the construction field for 30-some years, I know how the guys talk. I know what they talk about. I know what's going on in their heads. I'd like to think I do, some of them anyway. And it's like having a good coach. It's like having a great teacher, a mentor per se. They could say the right thing to you, and you would climb walls for them. There's nothing wrong with shouting out to some guys working hard somewhere and thanking them for their gift back to us, for them being part of something bigger than themselves, and what more gratification can there be?
Mike, I remember one of your shout-outs on one of your shows, you were commending the guys who were doing some bridge work here locally. And I remember running into that guy. I said, you know, we heard Mike did a shout-out, and it really made him feel good and important.
Well, you know, there's no discrimination on our show when it comes to trades. I come from the sheet metal trade, and there may be friction on the job site once in a while between trades, but we're all part of a brotherhood. And it takes all the members of the team working together towards the same goal to make things happen. And those fellows do things that I can't do. Right. All right, those iron workers right now working out over the overpass over on South Franklin, out there setting new beams, and the iron workers in there tying all the rebar together, getting ready for the concrete. The carpenters working on there, putting safety railings up. The laborers working all over that project to make things nicer for people going across South Franklin. It's a combined effort working towards the same goal. It's very gratifying for me to be part of the unions, especially the building trades unions, because you don't hear a lot about the guys that do some special things with their hands.
You make a very interesting point, Mike. We have a community here of working families, and yet a labor's voice. There is no labor's voice. The only labor's voice is your show on Friday afternoons.
Do you want to elaborate that a little farther before I interrupt you?
Go ahead.
You know, you got to crawl before you start walking. You got to make the listeners believe that they're important again, that they mean something to somebody. Because you know as well as anybody, Bill, people are struggling with morale. They're struggling with everyday things going on in their lives. It's hard to get a smile out of some people right now, but I want to try to help make that happen. I want to be an encouragement, even just for the day, for the hour, the half hour that they listen to us, that we do care about them, and that's what this town's always been about. Manufacturing is a big part of the history of this town when it comes to labor. All the trades worked at these different places and still do work at these places. And I'm just very proud of them. and I want them to feel good about what they're doing too.
You know, Mike, you're doing a media show. You're communicating on the radio. We're here communicating on public access TV. I think about our newspapers here in town. Here we are, a working man's town, a working woman's town, and there's no page in our print media that covers working families' issues. You see the stocks and bonds, you see what gold's trading at, you see what this company's trading at or whatever, and you read about Wall Street, but you don't read about the local that's doing the bridge work on South Franklin Street in our local papers. Why do you think that is, Michael? Why do you think that the laborers are and the working families are overlooked and not covered in print media?
Well, you know, it could be, and I want you to know, I want to make sure that you understand, I strongly believe this, that maybe they're not educated in what really is going on. And maybe an opportunity for someone with the local newspapers here in town, and I would welcome the opportunity to sit down and maybe discuss having a column.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe talk to one of their already employees that are doing editorials that maybe they would like to work with us.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we could make a column that would just be concentrating on what the hardworking people of this county, of this city are doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I would welcome that opportunity, but a lot of times there's a fear of anything that people don't know.
Yeah.
And maybe it's an opportunity for us to sit down and work together, and maybe we can get them educated. I don't want to use that, but we can give them information.
Sure.
On what we could do to maybe work out something that maybe instrumental in selling more newspapers.
Right, right. You know, we were talking about print media, but then we look at broadcast TV, for example, and all those hours that are available in broadcast time, and all those many hours, all those hundreds of stations, how many have any shows that relate to working family and labor issues?
Well, you know, I did some investigating prior to us starting the show. And again, I want to take this opportunity, Bill, to thank you, because your vision, your dream, and your prodding, okay, and encouraging is what encouraged me to push forward in this thing. Also, you put out you were able to incorporate and come to pass a fantastic media conference here in town over at Millikan University, and the individuals that you had come in and talk to us about the tools that were available and what could be done if we would just, you know, investigate. It's what pushed me towards on this project of doing Labor Voice Radio.
We all learned a lot.
Well, yeah, and that's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
We need to learn every day. We're never going to quit learning,
Sure,
are we?
sure.
And I guarantee you there's not an individual I don't meet sometime during the day that I can't learn something.
Right, right. Mike, we've got a couple of, well, at least one local out here on strike at the Houston-Patterson printing plant, and how are you supporting those guys?
Well, you know, working with Decatur Trades and Labor, we've had an opportunity to put together some, over the Christmas and Thanksgiving, some things for those hardworking people over there that are on strike, and our hearts go out to them. We've been out on the picket line with them several times. Several of the crafts got together and helped them out on the picket line also. And, you know, today, I don't think it's really I don't want to put all the emphasis on the fight with the unions. I don't think it is. I think it's an all-out attack on working individuals. It's a changing that we're seeing. The days of someone going to work, coming out of high school without a college education, going to work at someplace and staying 30 years, it's not going to happen anymore. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean it shouldn't be a fair and equitable place to work. Mm-hmm. And that's why I don't think it's really a battle with the unions. I think they're changing the working people's status all over the country.
Yeah,
I really do. And it just so happens that the people involved at that company have changed directions on some things they're wanting to do, and I just hope that things work out. I hope they have an opportunity to find something else within that company, or someone else picks them up, because they've worked hard. and they're out there on that picket line every day. You know, we come down the Main Street there, and they're there every day in the cold. They're out there right now, and it's been a very peaceable situation, and I applaud them on that also.
You know, Mike, Decatur, of course, is hurting. Maybe a 20% unemployment rate, you know, if you really put it all together. But Decatur's not alone. Mattoon, Galesburg, Rockford, Iowa City, all around America. Good, you know, functioning, great cities are in the decline.
Right.
And it seems like the folks in Washington and on Wall Street really don't care about Decatur or Mattoon or Rockford. Why do you think that is?
Well, you know, I really can't speak for them. But I can tell you, I've learned that if something does not affect someone on a personal level, straight out, they don't seem to want to get involved in it. We are fortunate that you're using the figure 20%. Those 80% people, the rest of the people that are working, I really think they're concentrating and doing everything they can to maintain their status without worrying about anybody else. Whereas the people that are really struggling right now, it's not for a loss of not wanting to work. There's just not any jobs out there. You know, Bill, I was reading the other day. They said 60 to 70% of the jobs that are going to be in that working jobs that are going to be coming haven't even been invented yet. And so, like, I find that as an encouragement. Okay. But are they going to be able to put people, hard-working people that come from a blue-collar atmosphere, are those the people that are going to be an opportunity to come into those jobs and go to work? Because I think that's all we want to do is work and provide for our families. There's no harm in wanting a fair wage to raise our families, and nothing's cheap anymore.
Sure. You know, Mike, when you think about the guys who are running companies, the bosses, they may want to have a good company here in Decatur and pay the guys well, but if they got to compete with the company in Shanghai, what are they going to do?
I really don't know how to answer that. It's all about money nowadays, and you know that I really think the company people, the owners, the people involved, the shareholders, and everything else, they've been fortunate enough to have some fantastic earning quarters. There's some huge increases in their income and so on and so forth for so many years, and that's due to bringing in foreign products, sending stuff overseas so they can have stuff done cheaper. But I haven't seen the prices come down here. Okay, when are we going to take care of our own? And I know that there's going to have to be a lot of fine tuning and all that. I know that. But I'm looking forward to the day that the American company owners will remember the American people. Let's do something and make America strong again. Did you happen to see the commercial during Super Bowl about Detroit?
Right.
I'll tell you what, I wanted to get up and just yell. And I don't know any of the characters who are involved in acting in that commercial, but just seeing Detroit and just seeing that fist hanging out there and the cars being built.
Yes.
And, American-made cars. I tell you what, it made my day watching that commercial. We lived in a fortunate time. Yeah.
You know, one thing a guy or lady can do is the car I drive to work every day is a union-made car made in Chicago.
Right.
Ford Motor Company. I made sure that I, with my dollars, that I was trying to stimulate and give a guy a job, what little I can contribute. So if we all pitched in like that, we might make a difference.
That's right. And you know, another thing that plays into this is not only the price, but convenience. Certain companies have all the products all in one place. You know what I'm saying? It's one-stop shopping. We haven't got time to mess around with a lot of things. But you're right. If we would search it out, and it's going to take a little extra time, there's a lot of great American products out there that can be had.
Yes.
And that helps build America.
It does help build America. I remember Sam Walton, when he was around running things, he made sure that his products were, the bulk of them, made in America.
Yeah. Things change.
Then Sam passes away, and they run container ships from Shanghai.
And it's money. It's all I wish I could sit here and tell you what it's going to take to make people content. With each person, it's going to change. Okay, each goal, each vision for contentment is totally different from one another. But we are fortunate to have lived in the time that we lived in. The changes for me have been phenomenal. The cell phones and everything else. Just for an example, did you know that none of the cell phones today that everybody uses in this country are made in this country? Why can't we take a Zexel plant and start building American phones out there?
Right.
Certainly, I don't understand all the ins and outs
Sure.
of it, but why can't that be a goal
question.
and put everybody to work?
TV sets, computers,
Sure.
all made in Asia
Yeah.
and imported here.
I figured it would cost a lot of money to ship that stuff
You
from
would
over there
think.
to here.
You would think. Why couldn't we have a policy that says that half of the TVs have to be made in America? You know, let half of them in and half of them are made here, and equal out the prices so that we're not the chumps of the world's economic community.
Give us a chance.
Give us a chance.
Give us a chance.
Sure.
The whole thing is we can't give up. Please, if that's what I want to push on the radio, this opportunity on your show, I want to push on them to not give up. I do believe there's better days coming.
How did you plan your radio show, Mike? What goes into the production of your show? Maybe later on we'll see some video clips of you at work at your show.
The thing that people may not understand is the prep work going into even just a 30-minute show. I have to do research on labor facts, labor quotes. I do research with the Decatur building trades here in town about who's working in the particular area, names and contractors that they're working for, so I can do shout outs. Okay. Then I try to figure out my time so I can touch each one of these areas on the show. I let the first 5 minutes or so I do with my sponsors and the host for the show and so on and so forth, and then I try to go in to community events that are going on, from Easter Seals, United Way, different organizations here in town that the trades and labor all give to. Okay, and then individuals also that are working hard out there to organize events, I try to let people know about those also. And then I go into my guest host, I ask questions about their particular trade or whatever organization they're involved with. And in between there, I try to incorporate the shout outs and the quotes and labor facts about what happened in 1952 or so on that made things the way they are today, helping us, you know.
Well, it's a dynamic show. We really look forward to listening to you every Friday, 12:30 on Talk Radio 101 here in Decatur at the Labor's Voice.
Yes, sir.
Mike, good luck.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Well, thanks for watching our interview with Mike Nixon. We're going to have a program involving Mike next week. We're going to do a live taping of him actually doing his radio program, The Labor's Voice, which is aired Friday afternoons at 12:30 on FM Talk Radio 100. And in next Thursday night's presentation, you can see Mike at work and get a behind-the-scenes look at how a live radio program is presented. Thanks for watching.